McHenry, and you have to remember, even families, even lawyers, people cannot talk to undocumented immigrants in detention center in McHenry and Broadview in face-to-face. The best they can do through televideo or telephone. That was the only way. So through this religious access, this law that we passed in 2008, we have the privilege, the honor. Thank God that we passed this. So we go and visit. This morning there were 15 religious ministers who had face-to-face contact with 90 people this morning. So we have around 60 ministers who are doing this ministry. Core Watch is also, we are present in the federal building every day to represent families, because families, as you know, a lot of them are undocumented. They can't go to represent their families. They are afraid. Who is the representative? The church, people of faith, us. Jesus, the Christ, needs us to be with them. Fridays, as I said, we are from 4:30 in the morning to 6 in the morning. We have ministers who are inside Broadview who also pray for the people, listen to them just before being deported. My role is really give orientation to families, because it's so dark at 4 in the morning. People, they don't know where is for 2 years. The address number was not there, so people doesn't know where it is. It's so difficult. So just basic things like that. And one of the roles that I have is also to connect this ministry, these families who are being separated, with the immigrant-to-immigrant ministry in our parishes, in the accompaniment piece. That's what we do. So that's the ministry that has been developed. We just started our informational campaign in terms of deportation, just what to do, what not to do, really basically prevention for deportations, basic things. So we just had like 17,000 flyers that we sent to around 25 parishes in the last 3 weeks, and so that in order to create awareness, and also for them to work in collaboration with the Illinois Coalition of Immigrant Refugee Rights to have a hotline that helps people in this kind of crisis. This is my last slide. We have the privilege and the honor. I have the privilege and the honor to do my work with a lot of lay people. I see some of them here, which I'm very grateful. We have also the Priests for Justice for Immigrants, a network of 200 priests, and the latest issue are secure communities, because secure communities is a legislation that really is the result of this secure community is the deportations. So they are implementing this secure community, and the deportations are double and tripling. So the Priests for Justice for Immigrants are really working in that, what to do. Especially they're working with the sheriffs. In the last 2 weeks, there were several meetings, and see how we can at least prevent to have more problematic issues with immigrants. The Sisters and Brothers of Immigrants are a network of 57 religious orders. Their specialty is really pastoral care. And the latest project that they have is to create safe haven, is what you call the shelters. Families, because we're noticing that people are coming from Indiana, Kentucky, different areas. They are coming to visit or to do something, but they don't know, there are no places to go. So we're creating this space of kind of shelter, one day, 24-hour, 48-hour, and also people who some of them they are released from some of them are released from the detention center. They don't know what to go, especially in the case of detentions. Thank you very much. I'll be happy to respond to your questions. Thank you.
Thank all of our panelists for a very rich evening. Normally when we come to presentations, we have the privilege of hearing maybe one, possibly two speakers. And they have rich productions for us and always stretch not only our knowledge bases, but our hearts and minds. To have 4 in one evening, this is a rich banquet, and we can't thank you enough. We'd now like to actually open it up to the floor. Any of you who have questions, Jorge has a mic here that is live, and he'll be happy to come around to you and get your question. And this is all being taped, by the way. This will be made available on the Center for Global Peace. Yeah, here we go with the first question.
Buenas noches. Good evening. My name is Deacon Guadalupe Villarreal from San Isidro's Parish in Bloomingdale. And during this conference, I heard solidarity. Well, I want you to know, Chicago, that DuPage County, we're working hard on what you are working as well. Thank you very much.
Craig, I know the Immigration Act has been amended many times, but what is the date of the basic statute that, how old is the immigration law that we're now following, do you know?
65, maybe, 54 earlier. Actually, you want to go back, the 20s started it in many ways, as we started adding a number of the exclusion grounds and removal grounds. We got some legislation in the early 50s. The Civil Rights Movement in 65 really gave the current parameters in a lot of ways. We added the Refugee Act of 1980, so that made the refugee provisions there. And as Elena said, 86 we got the Immigration Reform and Control Act. People might have heard of amnesty, so that was a major part. Then, but the 90s were really critically bad. 96, as she mentioned, just a lot of negative things. And then 2000, 9/11 certainly hurt, and the numbers of detentions, the seeing the stranger as the enemy. So those are the main.
It's an old statute that really needs to be looked at, it seems to me.
Yes, and we have to come to. One hopes that the beauty of this nation of immigrants, that we realize how strong we've been because of the contributions, instead of forgetting the dream and locking people out.
You know, Reverend Greg, that in 1920, 75% of the immigrants in the United States were Catholic. Now, in the second decade of this year, 2010, 2011, the percentage is over 90% of the Catholics in the United States are immigrants. Just some facts.
Before we get too comfortable, I often show my students a cartoon from Harper's Weekly in the 1880s, and it shows a number of children playing on the sandy beaches of Coney Island, New York, which should bring nice thoughts of joy and summer fun. And there's these alligators swimming across with their jaws wide open, ready to devour them. And when you look closely, it's Bishop's mitres. And it was the nativists saying those Catholics are going to come and make us a poorer, worse country. And so it's just a good reminder.
I had a question. There's so much hatred and meanness and anger in our country right now that seems so unfounded by the statistics that you show. I wondered if you could talk as to why you think that is. What do you think is the source of that meanness in our country right now?
Let me put some public opinion numbers on this, so that we've been asking, for example, the following question: are immigrants in the United States today a burden or are they a benefit to the country?